Hi, I'm Wayne the Boat Guy, and today I'm going to talk to you about this trailer-mounted boat lift. Yeah, a trailer-mounted boat lift. Who knew? All right, so today we're looking at this trailer-mounted boat lift. A buddy of mine loaned this to me. This is the coolest thing that I never knew I wanted or needed. Basically, what it's useful for is if you're bottom painting or cleaning the bottom of your boat when it's on the trailer. And if you don't have a bunch of those big stands with the pads on them and the lifts to be able to bring the boat up off of the trailer, like if you're going to just leave the boat on stands, take the trailer out to paint underneath of it. If you don't have those, and those are pretty expensive, this is a way to lift the boat up on the trailer. Basically, the way this kit works is it comes with 4 sets of these. So you've got your support thing here with the lift. You've got this big bracket. This has got a tube where this goes through there to stabilize it. You've got top and bottom mounting brackets and bolts with nuts and washers. These are 3/4 inch bolts with washers on the top, washers on the bottom, and 3/4 inch nuts. This is designed for a larger frame than my trailer frame, so I had to put a block of wood underneath of it here to shim it up because these bolts only have so much thread on them. But it's very, very secure, and I actually used this just a few minutes ago to lift up this corner of my boat. I'm cranking it back up again right now off of the bunk, and it just lifts it right on up. The idea is the kit comes with 4 of these. So there's 4 of these exact same sets, and you put them on each corner of your trailer, you crank it up evenly, and you can lift it up off of the bunks. For a person at home who every couple of years just needs to be able to lift it up off of the trailer rollers or the bunks to be able to bottom coat it, this kit here works pretty good. It's not cheap though. I think this kit goes for about $800. It's the only one I've ever heard of or encountered. And actually the reason I'm using it today is because this particular bunk, when I brought my boat up out of the water this last time, this bunk had kind of flipped over sideways. So my boat was resting on the other bunk and on the middle rollers, but it wasn't on this bunk. So it was sitting in the trailer crooked. And my ramp's really steep and I couldn't get it squared away while I was down on the ramp. So I brought it up here, and I was trying to figure out how to just jack up this side so I could flip my bunk straight underneath here. Luckily it didn't mess up anything underneath the boat, but I was trying to figure out how to do that, and I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said, I'll loan you my trailer lift jacks. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, I'll bring them over. And so he brought over the kit, and this is it. According to this, it's made by Brownell Boat Stands and Equipment, made in USA. And it's the hashtag BLT, Trailer-Mounted Boat Lift. And it has instructions for how to put it all together. And the only flaw I see with this is because it's designed for a larger trailer than mine. This is a very old trailer. Maybe all trailers are now much thicker material, that these bolts weren't threaded deep enough, and I had to put this block of wood in here. They don't say to do that in the instructions. That's just how I figured out how to do it. But this thing is super stable. Once you get that done, it's very easy to do. And matter of fact, I guess they give you a pole in the kit that you can put in here because it said something in the instructions about using the pole. I'm just using this handle where it was a little bit tight one of the times to turn. But see, you can just bring the trailer up and down, or bring the boat up and down off the trailer, just like that. And this top piece sits on here like this and pivots all around, so that way you can get it exactly where you want it, sitting on the bottom of your thing. This is a piece of plywood. I don't know if it's marine grade or not, but it's painted. And it pivots on this, and this is a lot like those big old lift jacks. And those big lift jacks, they're expensive and they take up a lot of space. This stuff here, when you break it all down, doesn't take up that much space. The biggest part is this big blue rectangular thing with a tube in it. It's really a simple idea, and it works really well. And it only took me about 2 minutes to put the whole thing together. You have to kind of keep your tongue straight in your mouth when you're doing it, because, like, for example, see, I can't pull this out right now while all this is together. So we'll disassemble this thing now. Oops. Always put them on the wrong way every single time. Whoops. I had it on the right way because I'm trying to loosen now. There we go. So 3/4 inch on the top, 3/4 inch on the bottom. Got some nuts and washers and these bolts. Hey, by the way, if you're subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing. If not, please click the subscribe link and be sure to subscribe and ring that bell if you'd like to be notified about future videos that I come out with. By subscribing, you're not committing to anything, you're not obligated to anything. It's just a way to set your YouTube account up so that way you get notified, if you ring the bell, about the channels that you subscribe to when they have new videos coming out. It also lets me know as a YouTuber that you like the videos that I'm doing and that you are interested in seeing more content from me. So please be sure to subscribe and ring that bell if you like what you're seeing. That was a fly on my shoulder. You want to see some close-ups of this? Let's do some close-ups. So here's the handle and the top piece of wood, which is, you know, it's pretty good length. And that's its width, and see it fully pivots. And then it's right now just sitting in here. I'll be able to take it out whenever I pull this apart. And there's we have a top plate bracket right here. There's top plate. And then there's a bottom plate, which is exactly like the top plate. I have the ones for the other lift right here. So here's what the plates look like. There's 4 of these. On the picture, they had the V facing towards you, so that's the way I set them in. I don't know if it needs to be like that. See the bolts. If they threaded all the way up to here, then I would have been able to put it in without this block of wood. I had to use the block of wood because the bolts are only threaded to there. So I figured I'd use the block of wood on the bottom. That seemed the most safest way to do this. And then the reason I jacked mine up was because this bunk here was rolled over and it wasn't sitting flush on the bottom of the boat. And I pulled my boat out because I want to wash it off and get it cleaned up and do some other maintenance to it right now. All right, let's get the rest of these bolts out here. Yeah, this would go a lot faster if I was using power tools, but I use hand tools a lot of times. There's 2 reasons I use hand tools. Number 1, I already have a whole bunch of hand tools from days gone by. Whoa, look at that. And then the other reason I use a lot of hand tools is because I'm old school and I kind of like the feel of the way hand tools work a lot of times. I like the fact that when I'm using hand tools, I can tell when things are getting tight. I can tell when things are secure. And I like that. I get comfort out of that because I just sort of feel like I know what's going on a little bit better. I don't strip out bolts. People who use a lot of power tools regularly, they'll do things like they'll hand thread things on first before they tighten them up with power tools. And they can set the air compressor and the equipment correctly so that way it doesn't over torque things. But there's a lot of people who don't know what they're doing with that stuff, and so they'll mess it up. So if you saw how I did that, I took the nuts off there and then this plate kind of wanted to wobble around. I'm holding this right now because the whole thing will just want to come out. And there it is. So now I can separate it all. So, woof. Okay, so there's this piece, this big old heavy thing here, right? Big threaded, whatever that is. That's the thing that the boat sits on. There's a couple of these plates. 4 of these big old bolts, and then this big old thing, big old cowbell. Yep, sorry, that's copyrighted. Anyway, I mixed 2 different songs there, by the way. This piece here, you could actually use it either way. So one of the ways you can have it is mounted inside, mounted outside, and then you can have it mounted this way or mounted that way, whichever way it works best for your boat and for your trailer. Like for example, if you have a boat that sits way high off of the trailer rails, you would probably have it sitting on there like this, and then everything up here. So I just kind of set it all in place and figured out how it should work for mine. This piece is heavy. That's a very heavy piece of metal. So that's part of the cost with this, is because it's made out of some beefy stuff. It's made to hold your boat. So if you wanted to use this to lift up your whole boat off your trailer, this kit seems awesome. And you just clamp it onto 4 corners of your trailer and just evenly jack the whole thing up. And you can do whatever you want to do. So I think it's kind of cool because you could work on bottom painting, you could clean underneath of the boat, change out a roller or something like that if you needed to. But you can't use it to lift the boat off the trailer and then take the trailer away, because basically you're still using the trailer as the main support. So keep that in mind. It might not be the kind of tool for everybody, but for some people, I think it's an awesome tool. So hope you enjoyed this short little video about this. I guess it's more like a product review, really. I hope you enjoyed my product review. I think it's a good product. Like anything else, I wish it was a whole lot cheaper, but you get what you pay for, and it seems very well made. The instructions were very clear. I only found that one flaw, but that just really applies to my trailer and my boat. I'll put some links in my description for this. So I don't know exactly where you can buy it from, but it's the Brownell Trailer-mounted Boat Lift. So hopefully they still make this, and maybe it's an exclusive product, and if so, good for them. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe out there on the water. Catch you next time.